This has been an incredibly exciting week for those of us in Canada who like to follow science and technology. On December the 19th, Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield, along with 2 others, blasted off aboard a Soyuz rocket for the International Space Station, and a couple of days later they docked with that orbiting laboratory, the most complex spacecraft that has ever been built, the most complex laboratory that's ever been built. And what really struck me this past week as I was watching a number of interviews that Chris Hadfield had done in anticipation of this launch was how focused he was in his life to becoming an astronaut and actually going into space. It fulfills a boyhood dream, a childhood dream that I think a lot of us have. Growing up in the 1960s, he watched, along with many other people, the Apollo missions, the very successful moon missions that NASA embarked upon. He was also a huge fan of Star Trek and Captain Kirk. He watched movies like 2001: A Space Odyssey, and he thought to himself, boy, I'd like to do that. I'd like to go into space. I'd like to be an astronaut. And so in order to make that happen, he joined the Air Cadets as a kid. He ended up joining the Canadian Air Force. He flew just about every plane that the Air Force has, including the F-18 fighter jet. He studied and received advanced degrees in engineering and in aeronautics. And eventually he was chosen as one of the Canadian astronauts. He's already been up into space twice aboard space shuttles, once doing spacewalks at the space station, and now he is up there for a 5-month stay. And one of the coolest things about that particular mission that he's on now is that partway through his mission, he will actually be the commander of the most complex and expensive laboratory that has ever been built, the International Space Station. He'll be in charge up there. Incredible accomplishment for anybody, for a Canadian, and so we're very excited for him this week. Chris Hadfield has had a definite plan in mind, and he's spent his life fulfilling that plan. The reason why all of this comes to my mind at this time of year is that at Christmas we are celebrating the coming to fruition of another plan, of the plan of God to save His people, to save us from sin, to save us from death. And to do that, God Himself enters right into our reality. He comes right to where we are. He comes in a way in which we do not expect. He comes in the form of a baby, as one who can't even hold up his own head, as one who needs to be fed, as one who has to learn how to crawl and how to walk and how to talk. He comes born in a stable, in the midst of a bunch of animals and everything that involves. He comes right into the messiness of human life in order to reach out and to bring us to where He is, to gather us together with Himself forever. It is a plan that is ultimately fulfilled when He reaches even into the abyss of sin and death itself, as He is upon the cross, as He dies for us, and then as He is risen gloriously. And so whatever situation we find ourselves in this Christmas, if we're in a situation of joyfulness, in a situation of suffering, perhaps even in a situation of sorrow, Jesus Christ has come for you and for me. He has entered into our reality. He does not leave us. He has come to bring us to Himself. And so this Christmas season, may we receive our Lord with a renewed sense of hope. Jesus Christ, who is our God, has come to us in the flesh to be with us in everything that we experience. He is the fulfillment of the plan of God to make us one with Himself. And so I wish all of you a very Merry Christmas, for Jesus Christ, our God, Emmanuel, is with us all. God bless you.